When it comes to astral travel, right, this occurs when the consciousness temporarily operates in the spiritual realm while your body is at rest. So usually when somebody is sleeping or in a state of altered consciousness, and they begin to travel in the astral realm and have certain experiences. And a lot of time in the new age world, people do this by going to take like psychotropics or things like ashwagandha, even so marijuana, things like that has been used. And other cultures have similar herbs or plants to marijuana where they use that to get into an altered state of consciousness, a high, so to speak, so that they can travel in the astral realm and have these connections or what have you, right? And so in Ifa, like, that's not a thing to just say I'm going to go and have this experience so that I could travel and go into another dimension just because this is something that I want to do, right? So instead, you would do this if it was necessary for you to do so. There are herbs, not just herbs, I should say. There are herbs, but also a kosher or spiritual medicine that can enhance these experiences and can perpetuate or potentiate these types of experiences. But again, it's not something that you just go and do and say, I just want to astral travel. It should be for a specific purpose, and you should definitely do so in a very ordered fashion if you don't want to catch yourself up in some problems, right? Can Ifa reveal guidance through dreams, trance experiences the same way Ifa divination does? So absolutely, you can get so many messages, very specific messages during the dream state or a trance state, same way that Ifa divination reveals information, right? However, you should always confirm certain things, especially when we're talking about just a dream, as I said before. You're going to confirm those messages. Trance states, because the spirit is already present or already there, it's going to tell you what's going on and what to do about it, right? Whereas in a dream, you're probably not going to get that extra information as far as what you should do about a situation, because that's key as well. When you're getting spiritual messages or communication of this kind, it is for a reason. Spirits don't come up to you just to, shoot the bull, so to speak, just to talk, just to have a conversation because they're bored. They have a conversation because there is some information that you need at that particular time. Let's get into that part about safety, protection, and, those energetic boundaries. All right. So I was asked, does Ifa consider it to be dangerous to separate the body, right, without having the proper guidance? In other words, just going and saying, I'm going to go and, use some type of psychedelic or some, even so marijuana. I know people think that, it's a herb or what have you. It is an herb. It's natural. However, it is a special herb. That's why they call it a sacrament, right? And it operates in a completely different way than if you just go outside and grab some rosemary or some basil or something like that, right? You're not going to get high off of those particular drugs. You get high off of marijuana for a reason, because of the constituents that are in there, because it is a sacred herb that you should utilize under proper guidance, right? And even that ayahuasca, definitely you need to use that properly, okay? Protection comes through various remedies, right, when it comes to Ifa. So before you decide you want to go and do some type of astral projection or something like that, you definitely want to protect yourself. It could be with rituals, ceremonies, even so the Akoshe, as I mentioned earlier. What you do is going to be dependent on your particular case and situation. So you have to speak to your owl about that directly. Okay, you definitely want to have a conversation with your spiritualist, your priestess, whoever it is, to know, is this something that you should even be doing? Because everybody is not designed to just go and deal with astral projection and things like that. So you need to know if that is part of your path, And if so, what do you need to do to protect yourself in that process? All right. Another question is, what kinds of beings or energies might someone encounter during astral travel, and how does Ifa explain them? So you can experience so many different spirits: the ancestral spirits, right? Elemental forces, which would ultimately be the orishas, earthbound or wandering spirits too. This is why you want to be careful. Even so, a Jogo, I didn't put that in there, but if you're traveling in the astral realm, pretty much any spiritual force that is in that space. That's why you have to protect yourself. Okay. These are natural occurrences just in the astral realm itself. Okay. But you should be engaging in them with caution whenever you go and you decide that you want to go and just meet these specific forces for whatever reason you decide to do so. Can rituals in Ifa raise a person's energetic frequency for safe spiritual contact or spiritual travel, like, astral travel and things like that? Definitely. As I said before, there's so many different types of rituals that you can do to protect or balance out your energetic field, and you definitely want to do so. You want to be as energetically clean as possible before going into these realms, because if you have any type of spiritual sludge or debris on you, right, those evil forces, earthbound spirits, can easily attach themselves to you in that realm, and when you come out, they're still with you, and that is not something that is ideal for any person. I was about to say it's not something that you want. Some people may actually want it, so I had to rephrase there. These devices can't be used by just anybody, though. Again, this is why you have to do all of this with caution and wisdom. Quantum energy and divine order. All right, quantums and stuff like that. The quantum reality rhythm. So how does Ifa explain the experience of multiple dimensions or realms within creation, right? So obviously there are different layers of the world, the universe, whatever you want to call it, right? So we do have IA right here. This is the earth, right? Our marketplace. And then you also have Orun, the spiritual realm. And there are different tiers of Orun. Even so, there are different tiers of the earthly or the physical realm, just like you have, above the earth where we are, but there are layers also below the earth, etc. All right. These particular dimensions, they interact constantly. We're constantly having, you want to talk about astral travel. Spirits are constantly moving back and forth in the astral realm. All right. And we travel even so between the physical and the astral realm in our dream state, and then also other altered states of consciousness. The way, I just described before, if you purposely go into that space. And there is a thing too where a spirit can come and cause you to engage in a space of astral travel. Now, that is not going to usually be something good that happens, right? If you just find yourself astral projecting, because it does happen, that some people just naturally astral project and, start moving in their dream state, and they may be asleep, and a family member or a camera or something like that catches them, and their body is moving up, but they are literally still asleep. They have no idea that this is happening in the conscious realm. This is usually not considered to be something good. You don't want those type of phenomena happening, because it could be your Egbe, for one, trying to bring you home. It could be other spiritual forces as well, causing you disturbances. So it's definitely nothing to take lightly. Usually if a person has those types of experiences, they are going to not have a great time up in their waking state. They can even still wake up with marks or bruises and things like that on their body. So it's not something that you should want. I'll say that way. Another question: could the Ifa concept of interconnected Ashe reflect ideas found in quantum entanglement? So first, let's flesh out, what quantum entanglement looks like, right? So this is a scientific concept in quantum physics. It's related to particles, right? So two interconnected particles, even when they are separated, they can be on completely different sides of the universe. If something happens to one of movement, so let's say if one goes up, the other one is going to go down at the exact same time, right? It just happens no matter how far apart they are. If they have been entangled at some point, they will have this simultaneous movement without any time lapse in between. It's not like one starts to go up and then it takes a few seconds or a few minutes and then the other starts to go down. It's like it will happen immediately at the same time. Okay, so that is part of the concept of quantum entanglement, right? It's really quick, brief definition without getting too scientific in it. Okay, so in Ifa, in Isheshe, right? Ashe, which is the vital essence, this energy, the vital essence that we all have, every living being has, from Olodumare. That's the aspect of us that is connected to the all, the creative force, the supreme being Olodumare, right? So this Ashe travels through everything that's connected, especially when we're talking about lineage and destiny fulfillment and things like that, because your lineage is so crucial. Your bloodline is so, so very important. This is why, a lot of like the elite, the 1%, if you will, are so embedded in keeping their bloodlines intact.